I took these incredibly cool looking hidden camera glasses into a thrift store and went through all the shirts. I'm going to show you every single label so you know what to pick up and what not to pick up. Speedo is not desirable. Jamaica Jacks is pretty low end. They do mostly Hawaiian shirts. I would pass at retail thrifts. Free Planet is same. I don't think it's anything at all. Mark Anthony, not great. George, really not great. That is trash. Faded Glory, here's the first ass brand. That is a very assy brand. Really terrible. Eddie Bauer is okay. That would be a good pickup at the bins. Access is awful. Completely awful. H&M, already bad, and it has a stain on the shoulder. Mountain Hardware, this was a close call. I almost bought this, but I checked the Menswear Manifesto, and sell-through on polo shirts has been pretty low, so I threw it back just because that's the Menswear Manifesto right there. I threw it back because the sell-through, I know it's going to increase going into spring, but I'm just not wanting to pay whatever. I think it was like $5 for polo shirts. Just wasn't worth it considering how much inventory I already have. Arrow's awful. Cypress Club is pretty bad. That's, I think, unbranded. That's... I don't think anything, although I just realized I don't recognize that tag. Penguin is not good. You know, I might pick up Penguin at the bins if the size and the style was okay. It's not as ass as it could be. Sierra Palms, I looked this one up because I didn't recognize it. Certain Hawaiian shirt brands, especially vintage Hawaiian shirt brands, can be worth quite a bit. That one was not. This is vintage Mervyn's. If you find something really ostentatious, like some big loud plaid thing, with big pointed collars, it's from the 70s or 80s, that might be worth it. Otherwise, I would pass. St. John's Bay is really bad. Massimo, really, really bad. Carvin, I didn't recognize. Didn't end up being worth anything. Michael Kors is, you know, really not desirable for me. South Coast, I didn't recognize. I looked it up, and it, I couldn't pinpoint it. It didn't seem to be anything. That's Massimo. Eddie Bauer, that's a plaid flannel. Definitely a bins pickup, but for whatever, $6, I'm not going to bother. Label of Graded Goods is H&M. This one is another plaid flannel. I might contemplate picking it up if I can get it for around like 50 cents or something. Morona, that is a plaid flannel. I would just skip it. Morona is such ass that I would just pass on it regardless of price. Unless it's new with tags and you can get it for less than $1, maybe then. Buffalo David Vuitton is unfortunately ass. It's right on the cusp of leaping out of the ass tier, though. It's right, like, straddling the line. American Eagle is pretty good, actually, for a mall brand. It had a stain on it, so I passed. Arrow, not good. George, not good. Arrow, again, not good. Express, really bad. I just skip it. Arizona, I skip. Arizona is really, really cheap stuff. That is, what is that? Resistol? I'm sorry, the camera is a little blurry. The resolution on those glasses isn't that good. I don't actually remember what that was. Croft & Barrow, just skip. Van Heusen, skip. Banana Republic, see all those words under Banana Republic? Sometimes if you look up those strings of words, you can find Banana Republic shirts that are actually in relatively high demand. But just as a general brand, it's definitely on the lower end. Thor, I know I've looked up a few times before, and I was disappointed by the numbers, so I just didn't bother to look it up again. Donna Karan, DKNY, is complicated. Generally, it's not desirable. Jerry, generally not desirable. I would contemplate it maybe at the bins. Chaps is a no. Forever 21 is pretty much always a no for me. Van Heusen, 99.999% no. Tucker Tate is ass. It's not good. This one I almost bought out of nostalgia because this is one of the first shirts I remember ever flipping. This exact shirt in a size medium, I believe. This Marlin print, I ended up passing on it. Tequila Sunrise, I didn't recognize. I looked it up. That's another plaid flannel. Ended up being nothing. Aero Sport, that's vintage Aero. I might actually pick that up at the bins just because aesthetically it's pleasing. I might be able to flip that to a vintage shop because it is vintage, and it might have enough demand to be able to flip it for like 15 bucks on eBay, but I passed on it here. Old Navy is a pass. Aero is a pass. St. John's Bay is ass. I passed on that ass, as I always do. Callaway is not good. I would think about the bins, maybe, if it's the right season, which it is. Bugatti Omo, 100% linen. I would have probably gotten this because we're going into linen season, but it had a stain on it. I don't remember where. There was something wrong with it. Yeah, right there. And I could maybe get that out, but at this point, if there's anything wrong with pieces from retail thrifts, I usually just don't even bother putting in the time. Opinions definitely vary on that one. Berman Bach. That is a vintage brand that I don't recognize. So I looked it up and it was nothing. Claiborne is a no. Is that New York & Co.? That is a no. New York and no. Arrow, no. Johnson and Murphy is a pass. Perry Ellis is definitely a pass. That is a hard pass. They make work clothing. Arrow is, this is the 500th Arrow that we've seen. Another Mervyn's. That is a pass. Dickies is actually a pretty strong lower end brand. The demand is pretty high. I would have gotten that at the bins for sure. Chaps, maybe at the bins. Perry Ellis, again, just pass on all of it. Redhead is a Cabela's brand, and that I would have gotten at the bins despite the wear because it was a long sleeve. And that actually has a surprisingly strong buyer base for what it is. Van Heusen, no. George, hard no. Absolutely not. Massimo is Mossy, no. James Campbell is bad. Amazon, pass on it. Adidas is okay. I would have gotten that at the bins. Adidas is not as strong as Nike for me. It is a little better than Reebok, just based on my gut. I haven't double checked those numbers. Didn't recognize that brand. It was nothing. St. John's Bay, hard pass. Puritan is, this was in the previous video. We discussed its assness, and so it is. Izod is ass. Pass on it, unless you find vintage Izod Lacoste. Those pieces are good. Pebble Beach is bad. George is bad. Another Izod, skip it. Another Izod, definitely skip. This is stuff you can get new with tags for like $15. St. John's Bay, I'm assuming. I don't know. I haven't looked at those numbers. Probably 15 to $20 you can get a polo shirt new. Island Passport, not worth it. Izod, again, bad. Kirkland, definitely bad. We don't like Kirkland. Another one of these, another Adidas golf shirt. That would have been a bins, yes, but a retail, no. U.S. Polo Association is a hard no for me, unless I can get it new with tags. Didn't recognize that one. I don't think. I know I've seen it before, but it was nothing. I passed on it. A vintage St. John's Bay. That one I might have thought about at the bins, just because it's vintage and it has that kind of all-over print that can push it over the edge. And here we go. Finally a yes. Mack Weldon mesh polo shirt. I love finding these. These are great sellers. Mack Weldon, anything will sell, but that's mostly what I find are those mesh polo shirts. Didn't even bother looking it up. One of my favorite items to find. I was looking at the button there because sometimes if you see these polo shirts or any kind of shirt that doesn't have a brand tag, you can find the brand written on the button sometimes. Alan Flusser or Flusser. Would have gotten that at the bins. Looked it up. It's an interesting brand. It's another one of those Uncanny Valley brands where sometimes it feels like it should be valuable and sometimes it is, but it's always kind of marginal. Another Bugatti shirt. Another one of those brands that I would have picked up at the bins, but I very rarely pick up at retail thrifts. Another Adidas. Yeah, skip. Don't be afraid to sell polo shirts that have golf clubs or golf brands embroidered somewhere on them. That does not prohibit value. In fact, certain golf clubs will improve the value. In fact, that's what I look up here. Ping is a nothing brand, but that's a Buick International golf tournament logo, which I rang a bell somewhere deep in the depths of Moria in here. And I looked it up, and it wasn't anything that I could tell. Nat Nast, I think, is way overrated. I really struggled to sell it consistently. so I usually skip it. Would have gotten it at the bins though. Nautica, I don't even pick Nautica up at the bins. It's been a while since I double checked that brand, but to me it is ass. Pierre Cardin, those vintage Pierre Cardin pieces can be worth some money, especially if you find something really weird, but generally no. Greg Norman is a pass. I would have thought about it at the bins. Echo, I just don't bother with. There's a FootJoy coming up here. FootJoy is a great brand to know. I'm checking the buttons here again. That is a really, really strong brand. I would have picked this up at the bins, even though it has like a hospital thing on it. Give it a thumbs down there. But for $5, no thanks. See that, like, the company logos do diminish value, whereas golf club logos do not, in my experience, or not nearly to the same degree. Didn't recognize this. It was new with tags. It was a good size, 3XL. Bigger sizes are more desirable than smaller ones, but unfortunately not. Sport Tech is trash. Adidas, another one, maybe that would have been worth it. Ben Hogan is a lower-end golf brand. Foundry, I don't recall if it's how strong the numbers are, but it had a stain on it. They do a lot of big and tall sizes. Michael Kors, we don't want. We don't want Michael Kors. Sport Tech is trash. Port Authority, no, even though it's a good size, 4XL. Antigua is bad. That's a local gym, local little boutique mom and pop shop gym. Destinations, I don't know what that is, but was it nothing? It was like some local plumbers union. Passed on it. Claiborne, bad. PGA Tour is really low end. St. John's Bay, super low end, as we discussed. Nothing. Port Authority, nothing. Another nothing. You find a lot of these just absolutely valueless polo shirts a lot. I think they're really popular with like companies that hand out freebies and stuff. That is a vintage Polo Ralph Lauren tag. I would have gotten that at the bins. I'm not going to bother at a retail thrift. Polo Ralph Lauren is way blown out. Russell, that's Russell. Skip it. These tourism shirts, I just don't do that well with, typically. Port Authority, again, no. That's, I think, that looks like paintball to me, or airsoft. Hang 10, I might have thought about it at the bins, but not for retail prices. AAA, no thank you. Another company polo shirt, Morona, is not good. It's nothing corporate. Sonoma is terrible. Just terrible. Just deep ass brand. Sorry. Techno Gym, I skipped. I looked it up later. It was nothing. Calvin Klein, nothing. Calvin Klein, absolutely. I just almost never pick up unless it's vintage and it has a big spell out on the front that says Calvin Klein, or the big gigantic logo, something that a teenager would want. Jeffrey Bean, no. Echo Unlimited, no. This is West Marine and it's new with tags. I looked it up and there just wasn't any compelling reason to get it. That's like a boating supply store. Wrangler is, it's like ass with a lowercase a. I just don't typically like picking it up unless it's something really special. Sport Tech, no. High Sierra is a disappointment to its parents. Just skip it. Nike Golf. Nike Golf can be good. I would have gotten that at the bins for sure. Denim and Flower is, I believe, a fast fashion subscription box brand, and it's not that good. But you can find stuff that is different and a little more desirable. George, one of the worst. High Sierra, again, is nothing. Hudson River is nothing. Puritan, nothing. Nothing at all. That is an interesting design for the polo shirts. If you find those in like vintage Pierre Cardin and their bright colors with the ruffled bottom, segmented or color blocked, those can be worth money. Goodfellow, one of the worst brands of all time. This was weird. Was this? No, I'm thinking of something that comes later. Eddie Bauer would have gotten that at the bins. Pass on it here. That is nothing at all. Another company polo shirt. Another High Sierra. LL Bean would have gotten it at the bins, passing it up or passing on it. Checking the manifesto here and low sell through. So double no. Augusta is a lower end sports company or sportwear company. I just pass. Good fellow. No thank you. No thanks on Cool Santa. Apartment 9 is awful. This is Burma Beavis, Bibas. I typically pass on it. I don't remember what the exact numbers are, but it's not that great. Perry Ellis is no. Port Authority, no. We know Izod is a no. We know Croft and Barrow is a no. Morona. Ben Hogan, no. Sonoma is no. Land's End, I would have picked up at the bins, but no here. Golden Bear is not good. Windridge is bad. Skip it. Another Greg Norman there. We do not like Greg Norman. Right? That's Greg Norman, right? Port Authority, no thanks. Lot of cheap nonsense in the polo section here. Often the case. Polo shirts are fairly seasonal as well. They definitely do better in the spring. I think spring and summer is polo season. Golden Road, that's a brewery up in LA, which I know because it says LA on it. Breweries can have a pretty strong following. That one did not. It's a weird baseball edged polo shirt there. I think that was Calvin Klein. Holloway is nothing. That's nothing. Dunbrook is bad. It's garbage bad. Bad. Garbage ass. Mills? Splendid Mills? Is that what that is? Not good. Another U.S. Polo Association. Skip that. This, I spent like 5 minutes researching. Treehouse Millionaire. I'd never seen this before. And it just, there's something about it that suggested to me it was worth something. I went on Instagram, I went on Safari, I couldn't find anything anywhere for it, so skipped it. No idea what it, that's new to me, but clearly not anything. Land's End, another bins brand. Edwards makes a lot of work clothing. I skip it. It's a landscaping company. Avoid that. Core 365 is trash. God, just straight trash. Look that one up because it's vintage and it was nothing at all. And this is unbranded. Great shot there at the button. Banana Republic, that's vintage Banana Republic. Maybe at the bins, maybe. Nike Golf, pretty strong. I did not recognize any of this. Tried to find something. That brand seemed okay, but no. Red House is bad. Pretty sure that's a bad brand. I tried to look this up and didn't get anything really. If this is not exciting, it's because thrifting is not that exciting. Like it's fun to get the big wins, but for the most part, it's just wading through this swamp of despair with all these terrible brands. Puritan, no. Banana Republic, no. Luxury Touch is maybe a bins thing. Another Reebok Golf, a good size that would have been a bins pickup. That's Costco. That's Windridge. What is that? The airport. No thanks. No thank you. No thank you. Callaway is a no. I might have gotten that at the bins just because it's some kind of more performance-y type fabric. So no, that was Sonoma. That's a no. Disneyland, I maybe should have looked this one up. Disney stuff can be worth okay money. Disney's really touch and go. You got to find the right stuff. Merona, never the right stuff. 32 Degrees is really low end. Bobby Jones, pretty low end. I think I've ever sold Bobby Jones, actually. Merona, no. River. Getting to the end here. Nope. That's Penguin, and that's a no. Access is no. No thanks. Linksole, excellent brand. I always give it like a quick once over before I put it in the cart, because a lot of the times that's what you find. Had that not been there, that would have been an absolute yes. Linksole is a really strong brand. You don't make a lot of money with it, but it is really consistent. This is a very close call. That is some kind of vintage polo shirt from a casino, to do with, I don't know what they are racing, what it's from, who Hoyt is, but that was really, really on the edge. I almost pulled the trigger on that one. Express, no. Hanes, obviously, is bad. A lot of the Land's End here. Would have picked all these up had they been at the bins. Skipping them here. That's the vintage tag. Land's End. Don't know what that is. Looking for the brand there. Actually did look up that, because college stuff can be, you can find little niches, especially Ivy League schools are almost always worth picking up, especially if they're officially branded. Colors by Alexander, Julian, right? It's not good. It's vintage, so you think that it should be good, but it isn't good. Another Nike Golf. These golf, the golf polo shirts from the major, Reebok, Nike, Adidas, those are typically always good pickups if you find them at the bins and the seasonality is right. Another one, you're not going to make a ton of money, but it is consistent. This one I did end up actually buying. That's a vintage anvil tag, which is the first thumbs up. And it has all of these famous people on the back. So it's got Jordan, Spike Lee, MLK, Frederick Douglass, a lot of really, obviously very well-known people. There's Marcus Garvey down there. Oprah, young Oprah. So I couldn't find anything for the African American Employee Committee anywhere. I just knew that I could probably get away with flipping this for around $30 because of what it is, especially if I made a pic collage for the thumbnail so people could see those faces. So that has not sold yet. We'll see if it was a mistake, but I was willing to gamble $4 or $5 or whatever on that one. George. Jerseys is terrible. Another Greg Norman. I skip all of it for the most part. Nike Golf. Wouldn't have picked that up at the bins just because it's corporate, and I'm not corporate. PGA Tour. Probably a no. H&M, hard no. H&M, if you find really loud graphic stuff, you can do okay. Another skip. That's Brooks Brothers. Would have gotten that at the bins, not here. That's John Ashford. Skip it. St. John's Bay, terrible. Cambridge Classics is hardest of passes. Clubroom, also terrible. Clubroom Cashmere is worth it. Izod Saltwater, also not worth it. There we go. This is part 2. There is a part 1 that was pretty lean, but you do find enough to make it worthwhile. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I'm glad you guys like this format.